I'm using a different mic right now. Can you all hear me? Am I choppy no longer? Please tell me I'm choppy no longer. Please. Do I sound choppy? Please tell me if I sound choppy. Hello? Do I sound okay now? Do I sound okay now? Okay, well if this is working, I'm just gonna change some, well I'm gonna get rid of this plugin. Yeah, because this is my singing mic. This is what I normally use for singing, so I'm gonna put on noise suppression and stuff, and does this sound better? Hopefully this sounds better. Okay. Yeah, if I sound audible now, that's good. That's my mic, yeah. I'm gonna probably look into this into future streams or something like that. I have no idea why this is happening. So, yeah, this sucks. But what are we gonna do? Anyways, today we're gonna be playing Monsters Insight, and that's this is gonna be my first horror game that I'm ever gonna be playing. So, I'm really looking forward to playing this because I've never really touched upon horror stuff before in games or whatever. So, yeah, hope you enjoy this as much as I hopefully will. Yeah. And sorry about all the glitches and stuff. Well, again, I'll probably just investigate because this has never happened to me before. So, yeah. Anyways. Have you no shame? Look at yourself. It's so filthy. People who see you will be so disgusted because it would bring them so much pain. Alright, here we go. Let's begin. Now you'll choose a mode to play in. Adjustments here are not permanent. Changes can be made in the preferences menu later on. If you want to access more accessibility features, i.e. dyslexic fonts, self-voicing, press the X key on your keyboard. Select a template mode. Alright, I might try assist mode first, because I don't really know what I'm getting into. I don't really know what I'm getting into here, so we'll see where we go from there. Yeah. Let me just check that the sound is working. Yeah, it is. Alright, assist mode. You selected the assist mode. In this mode, you'll get everything except the timer. Do you want to play in assist mode? Yeah, let's. Excellent. Let's begin. Chapter 1. A Call from the Land of the Lost. For a moment, you don't remember where you are, or how you got here. You feel lost, unsure of where you're going, and almost unsure of who you are. You'd like to think that you're past your insecurities, your defects. your weaknesses. In a daze of confusion, sometimes being lost can make one's soul feel as if it is lost itself. Then you see it. A moment of clarity washes over you, and you found yourself in the chasm. Across the endless Malduvian River, a gargantuan beast can be seen engaging in a battle. His opponent appears to be a hooked-backed Shargoth. The more hooked the back embraces, the stronger they come, as they say. As for the beast, he has no discernible features other than it spewing a toxic pink substance when it roared. Fairly standard large ears, a trunk face, lilac claws, and a fur made of plasma. I would guess that he is a beast of the burning star, but their tendons are squishier and their flesh tend to melt. And they also don't ingest pink matter. In a matter of moments, the winner was decided. The Shargoth slays the beast and skins the plasma fur. With a mission, it carries the plasma on the second hooked back and flies away, leaving the meat of the beast behind. I'm not really sure what kind of horror game this is, so, I'm kind of going into this blind. All I know is that it involves some eldritch horror stuff, and that's about it. I wonder if it's safe to eat. Just as I take my first step into the door, I hear a shriek across the room. Silver-tongued, you have kept me waiting long enough. Greetings, Kichi. I've been waiting for hours! How was your day? Don't use your semantics on me. Oh, thank you, Kichi. My day's been spectacular. I had to withstand walking to and fro, watching catfights and picking up after the leftovers. Because that's going to be our only source of nourishment. I could help. If you let me out. Not a chance. This is Kichi, a parasite that once attached itself to me. Since I have insight, it was fairly easy to find it and dispose of it from my mind. But then Kichi started panicking and begged for its life. It promised it wouldn't reattach to me unless I find it food. And I let it live rent-free in my abode. Good thing that there's no actual rent to pay. What is that? Unsure. Looked like a beast of the burning star. But it would digest this pink liquid. Perhaps they're evolving as a species. Perhaps. I grab my tools and start hammering on the flesh. With no physical strength, I couldn't carry all the meat back to home. Instead, I cut out a few sections of the beast and put them in containers. Most of these meat sections were covered in plated armor, since the Shargoth skinned the plasma fur off the beast. Speaking of evolving, let's talk about your siphon career. I have a good source of clients, if that's what you're asking. But are you content with where you are? I already have plans to go bigger. What do you mean? My sights are set on a first milestone, a great terror. What? Don't think I'm capable. I let out a soft laugh and stick out my silver tongue. Well, today I wasn't just getting us food. I found a keyword before I found the delectable beast we're going to eat. It was the chasm. Don't tell me. This is... You're going to siphon off Fernway? Who other than one of the lost? Smiling, I start sizzling the meat on the hearth while beating it with my hammer. The odor smells delicious, like rusted wood and bromine. I agree we should set our ambitions higher, but now you're just doing Babel Part 2. That is a story that comes from some unknown and irrelevant universe you once were in. I'll see you when you have something useful to say. I hear a light spark sound, meaning the fire has melted the last chink in the armor. After letting all the oozing metal collapse and clear off any remaining silicon left on the meat, I pull back the hammer and start weaving the meat and carving out the trunks. And now the dish was finally ready. Then I squished Kichi's jar and let the meat and its juices flow inside for it to consume. It nibbles on some pieces before turning to face me. Alright, if you're going to do this, then you might as well get some help. It's always better to do some prep before you meet with any interlocutors. Do you want a little bit of a refresher? A reminder is always nice. Alright, let's begin. The goal of the dialogue you have with each interlocutor is simple. You want to convince the interlocutor into choosing you as their siphon, whatever that means. A siphon is a being that needs to feed off the mental energy of others to survive. But it's not just about surviving for me. It's about thriving in this plane. The more mental power I accumulate, the greater my power of insight will become. And the longer I will live, greater terrors, like Fernway of the Lost, will grant me greater mental power. Why do you need your power of insight anyways? Funny you should ask, Kiichi. The power of insight is what allows me to get a glimpse of the mind of others. So you can see what's in their minds? And I thought this was going to be difficult. Seeing their minds isn't so simple as knowing their current thoughts, Kiichi. It's like jumping into a pool of all their ideas, memories, experiences, and feelings. It's easy to get lost in their head if you don't know where to go, or what to look for. The power of insight acts as the access point and, if strong enough, can be my guide when inside the mind. Let's start with you as an example. Oh, wait, what? I did not ask for the silver tongue. I laugh. Too late. Here's an input you need to do to win. To undo, use the delete key on your keyboard. Start typing in the answer. To close this message, press the down key. Oh wow, this is cool. Huh. What is in hackneyed, voliere, and keyed? Whatever it is the answer to input. Normally there'd be a timer, but this can be adjusted from the... Yeah. I see it. I know what it is. And let me see what the other one is. Right now, you're using your insight to be in Kiichi's mind. And here, you need to solve the puzzles written in text, and then by using the solution, type it into an input to escape. To close this message, press C or press the down again key. Congratulations! You found the answer! Alright. This is what you'll need to do for most dialogues. Solve puzzles and input words. Sometimes, you'll need to input more than one word in order to win. Did you just enter my mind now? Let me guess. Your head is a little bit light and dizzy. You feel as if you've blanked out for a second. Correct. Wait, so that means you intend to use the power of insight during the dialogue? When else is a better time? You didn't need to do this for your clients in the past. Well, my clients are easy to convince. Now we're going up a proper, worshipped terror. All tricks and tactics should be laid on the table. Yes, I suppose so. Kiichi fidgets and moves around in its jar. But your power of insight alone isn't enough to convince someone. Let me just save here. You don't say. I thought I could just go up to someone and say, "Greetings, fellow associate. Could you be my source of power from which I will leech on indefinitely?" But no. You need to spin it in a way that can be mutually beneficial. That is true, I suppose. But no. What you need are the 3 Ps to assist you. The 3 Ps? Kiichi, there are 3 Ps things you put in a conversation. Or as I like to call them, the 3 Ps. Presence, prescience, and perception. Each one is valuable in their own way and can be a key to your success in winning the dialogue. It's also known as winning their favor. Your presence is how you control your demeanor in the conversation. It's your ability to manipulate how you come across or present yourself. There are 3 traits that presence encompasses. Kiichi. 1. Charisma. How agreeable, charming, or likable you are. 2. Reputable. How trustworthy, honest, and respectable you are. Supreme. How powerful and strong you are. This controls if you're the dominant speaker, or the one who leads the conversation. Note the words appear to be and how things are in air quotes. Because frankly speaking, you're neither likable, trustworthy, nor powerful. I grabbed Kichi's jar and tightened my grip. I'm sorry? Did you say something? Not at all. I laid down the jar. Ahem. What I meant to say was this. It doesn't matter who you are. It's who you pretend to be. It's the ability to hide your true nature and present yourself as someone more convincing. Next on the list is prescience. It's your ability to recall facts and use your reason. There are two traits that compose your prescience. 1. Knowledge. It's how much you know things or how cultured you are. If you go scouting or digging up some dirt on an interlocutor, you gain more knowledge. 2. Intellect. Your ability to make sound judgments and use logic. These can be used if you were to dig up some old dirt on them. Well, you can't introduce it straight away. Hey, I'm here to blackmail you. Isn't all that convincing? Why not? Wouldn't they feel threatened? They can beat you to a pulp. With your malformed body and length of strength, it would be too easy. As much as I detest that idea, Kichi is right. I'm not one to use my brute force as a weapon. That's why I take it to a playing field where I stand a better chance. One involving less punches and more words. Finally, there's your perception, which has one singular trait. You mean perception? That's it. Perception has the trait of perception. This is a ridiculous naming system. That's how I'm going to fit into 3 Ps. Anyways, your perception is a crucial ability. This determines whether you can pick up on important words or body language. Important words translate into pointers, and body language translates into cues. You don't say. Indulge me for a second. First, I will explain pointers. For the sake of argument, let it be that I said the following sentence. After walking past the shop, I arrived at home. Fairly innocuous statement, right? Let's say you had greater perception. Maybe you'd be able to notice a word. After walking past the shop, I arrived at home. Click on the word that's bolded, the shop. The word, the shop, is the pointer. What shop did you walk past? The Oldener store of supplies and syringes. When you clicked on was a pointer. Essentially, you interrupted me to question me about the pointer word. In this case, it was the shop. So you asked me what shop I was walking past. You may return to the original text, aka what Kichi would have said if you didn't interrupt. But sometimes, an interruption can lead to a separate train of thought. Sometimes there may be multiple pointers in a sentence, and you may be forced to pick one. So you may have to decide what should be questioned or not. After walking past the shop, I arrived at home. At what time did you arrive to your house? Roughly 5 moons after the blood sun. Sometimes the better option may be to let the interlocutor keep talking. If you keep pressing them about words or keep interrupting them, they may get annoyed. This will close them up, and they'll reveal less information to you. You can see the state of the interlocutor by enabling interlocutor state in the menu. This state will show a bar that's half full, half empty. If the bar goes empty, or if the interlocutor is closed, it's game over. You've pestered them too much and they'll stop the dialogue. You can unlock keywords by opening up the interlocutor. This is done using your presence traits. So that's pointers done. Next are cues. Cues are hints of body language. Words alone don't tell the whole story. Mannerisms of a person can change everything. Let it be that I said, I saw Iralda yesterday. See the eye mark next to Kichi? Kichi bears extended claws, reserved body language. Hover over it and text will appear. You see that the body language Kichi is giving is one that is reserved, meaning that it is trying to hide something. It could be that Kichi is flat out lying, or Kichi is hiding some information regarding the encounter. Let's say I used a different body language instead. Kichi's skin is shining. Repressed anger. I saw Iralda yesterday. Hover over the new eye mark again, and different text will appear. Now, Kichi's body language is repressed anger. You can deduce that there is strained tension in the relationship between Kichi and Iralda. Clearly, Kichi did not want to see them that day. Let's do it one more time. It's bruxing its teeth. Visible happiness. I saw Iralda yesterday. Hover over the new eye mark again, and different text will appear. This time, Kichi's body language is happiness. It can mean that Kichi values Iralda to be a close companion / ally. There's a lot of information that can be picked up, not through the words, but the way words are said. I think you get the rough idea on how cues work. So to summarize, there's presence, prescience, and perception. Presence has the charisma, repeatable, and supreme traits. Prescience has the knowledge and intellect traits. And perception has the perception trait. Perception can be used to notice pointers, important words, and cues, body language. For every single interlocutor, I know there are multiple strategies to pursue. They use a unique combination of Kichi's 3 Ps. Sometimes you can make yourself appear as a sycophant to lower their guard. Negative supreme, positive charisma. Perhaps you can find some blackmail and bribe them. Positive knowledge. Occasionally, I'll refute their ideas and convince them why they need me as their sci-fi. Positive intellect, positive repeatable. But most of the time, I just go with what feels right and adjust myself to the situation. So are we clear? We're good to go. Excellent! So, when are you meeting Fernway? When I hear their call. Do they have some telecommunication network? If only. But no. Their home is the chasm, and nobody can get in. With my siphon power, I think I can get it. I already know where to go. I tried getting in the chasm this moonrise and it worked. Although I'll have to be careful not to lose myself in it. Should be easy enough. I'm used to navigating people's minds anyway. I wonder what Fernway's mind looks like. You grab out your journal and some papers you have lying around. That's mine. I am not clearly defined. I am relatively informed. And I am an intellectual. Alright, let me, check. Chasm. Huh. Let me just save here for a second. Your journal keeps track of all the keywords you have, and your papers have your stats written on them, e.g. presence, prescience, and perception. During the dialogues, you'll gain temporary presence stats, which indicate how you present yourself in the conversation. Once the conversation is over, all your stats earned during the conversation will be reset to normal. After all, presence indicates how your interlocutor perceives you. Once you're done seeing them, these stats play no role. However, you can boost your normal presence stats before the conversation, which is what you're going to do now. You have 3 points to spend across your presence, prescience, and perception. All of these are of equal importance, so choose what you think will help you the most. Click on the plus sign to add 1 to a stat. And click on the word of the stat to reset that stat to 0. The stat points will be transferred to your overall points, which can be spent elsewhere. Alright. I'm gonna kind of spread it kind of easily right now. I'm gonna spread it kind of out easily right now, just because I don't know what I'm going into with Fernway, and I don't know what they're like. So this is kind of the spread I'm gonna go to right now. So far, I think this game is really good and really unique. I think it's got a really strong impression, both visually and writing-wise, and I like the mechanics too. So let's get right into it. Alright. You've read the papers. There are headlines of Jack Rabbit and the missing mines of Lucenscape. Good. So now you'll have a choice to make. Either you can go digging for some information regarding Fernway, or you can gain more points to boost your stats. The choice is yours. I might scout for information. As prep for the dialogue, I usually search for information regarding the interlocutor, who in this case will be Fernway. It's always better to stay one step ahead of your opponent, and that means knowing more about them than they know about you. There isn't much time until the dialogue starts, so I should choose carefully where I go get my information. There's Globin near the Malduvian River, who's obsessed with studying great terrors. Or there's Narg Kichi knows that Rose runs a bar. And I'm guessing he hears a bunch of things from different folk. I might go to the Malduvian River. Better to trust the experts with this one. A trek later, I'm at the Malduvian River. Normally it's a dangerous place where predators tear apart their prey. But because of the time, there's not much of a need to be cautious, I think. I meet up with Globin. We've done an exchange like this before, but not enough times where she's supposed to expect me. Under the guise of wanting to study great terrors, She reveals to me a few things of Fernway. I learned that the chasm is for those who have lost their way. The chasm itself is home to something, Hobgoblin doesn't know, that reduces you to nothing. Once your soul has been extracted by the chasm, Fernway uses this to nurture the chasm and let it grow. Any remaining debris looks like fractured glass-like shapes floating astray. Good talk! Your preparation time for the dialogue is up. Now, the Silver-Tongued will attempt to win the favor of the Interlocutor. I'm gonna save here. Fernway of the Lost. Almost instantaneously, I feel my body collapse into the floor. And soon after, I was dragged to the center or the core of this plane. In that moment, I wasn't falling down, but instead I was flying down. As the seconds passed, my home seemed more of a memory, and then a stranger. Everything was spinning in motion, yet I felt strangely unfazed. I knew what to expect from great cosmic terrors. The fall felt never-ending. The impact was going to be severe. But I never really hit the ground. A few minutes pass as you try to recuperate from the fall. It takes me a few seconds before I could fully comprehend what had just happened. The humidity is almost suffocating, and if you look long enough, the glass shards and walls look back at you. The air, frigid and moist, should give a clear sensation. Yet my body feels weak and light, almost as if I don't exist. I see Fernway forming itself around me. It wasn't like a figure coming closer from the distance. It's more as if they were already here, waiting for me, and chose to reveal themselves now. Their figure staggers above mine, yet their ethereal form and lifeless eyeballs make them seem less threatening. Greetings, Silver-Tongued. I was told that you have come into my chasm. My greetings. At this phase of the dialogue, this is where you make your first impression, and where you dictate the tone of the conversation. Are you Fernway? Are you the Silver-Tongued? They give a warm chuckle. You can never be sure of anything in this world, little one. Are you supposed to go into the walls of the others? No! That I'm certain of. I'm not going anywhere near those creepy-looking walls. I think I'll be fine. They begin to stroke the top of my horn. There, there. There, there. There, there. Are they patronizing me? Maybe they look down upon me or cherish me. I could exploit this. Or reassert the tone I want. Anyways, I wanted to ask what brought you here. I was hoping you could tell me that. And why should I be able to know? I wasn't so sure where I was going with this one. Thought I could buy me some more time before I have to lay it down. Oh, you poor thing. You may be already lost. But perhaps you're a lot like me in this way. Lost? What's this? Are you lost? Oh, you were just... I was going to say pathetic, but your helplessness is endearing. My what? Helplessness. Wait, this isn't so bad. I can turn this around, or I can keep using this. You know, I've been thinking of a lot of things. Yes, I've been thinking a lot. About what there is and what there isn't. Let me, see. And at first I started to doubt how we can justify anything. Based on our understanding, everything seems so feeble and it can all collapse in an instant. You ask to justify something, and it keeps on going on, leading to a never-ending chain of reasoning, until you admit defeat. But then there's also one other thing. Perhaps they felt they said too much? Interesting. If I remember correctly, this feels similar to Agrippan skepticism. Ah yes, the classic skeptic. It seems so obvious now. But this is all irrelevant talk. I don't think it's appropriate for me to discuss these things with you. What I need is an answer related to why you're here. Well, I told you that. Not how you got here or why you want to speak with me about. As in, why are you here? I'm sorry? Only those who have fallen astray land in the chasm. I know that you tried to enter against the wishes of this place, which seems incredibly bizarre because I haven't seen such an entry in a while. You're either here because you deserve to be, or you have breached an access point which should be illegal. I need to think fast and know what they're talking about. People come to the chasm if they're lost. So that means I was probably called here because I was lost too. I sometimes doubt that even if I'm living or if I exist. Ah, so you're lost too. Just like the rest of us. That's quite alright. In fact, I think this could be quite a good sign. No one has lasted as long as you. I thought you would be gone by now. How quaint. They make several soft giggling noises. A sincerity in their smile. They've been craving for company for some time. It's a bit eerie and unsettling. But in your last, final moments, I will tell you this, that everything you will say will be irrelevant. You'll disassemble and lose yourself to the chasm like everybody else. No matter how hard you try, little silver-tongued, you'll be in the place where you're meant to be. I was told that I was meant to die far too many times to take this talk seriously, even though the discussion has me at the center. I needed to refocus back to Fernway. I can either let myself continue to be the center and through this, reveal what Fernway has to offer, or I can completely focus the conversation away from me. And where is that? Fernway begins to turn inward. Within the chasm. Forever. Alright, let's do it here. Not everyone. Only for special people like you and me. So does this mean they're going to pass on as well? Are you just as weak as helpless as me, then? I'd like to think that I can outlast you. After all, you're just something in my mind. I'm sorry. What? Something that cannot exist. A figment of their imagination. Something in their mind. Are you kidding me? How on earth am I supposed to win Fernay's favor if they think I'm fake? That I don't exist? They need to stop staying cooped up in here and actually start having a life. Oh, Nellum. Just spare me now. So how come I'm talking to you? Why, it's simple. There's either two possibilities. One, my monad is being supplied with nutrients inside a machine meant to simulate reality. Which includes you to be a part of the reality. But I'm nothing more than just a bunch of nuts and bolts meant to resemble a person. Fernway nods their head. Or two. There is some malevolent demon who attempts to deceive me in believing there is a non-existent world. He conjures up locations, people, and such with his incomprehensible powers, solely for deceit. Wow, talking about being self-centered, or being a solipsist. Must take an awful lot of brain power to be this self-deluded. So I'm either working for a devil or an artificial simulation. I wish I could say, oh, I didn't mean to insult you. Of course I don't think that. But I honestly don't care. Interesting. Guess I have to find some way to convince them to care about the siphon. Or maybe I could use this to my advantage. But first, if this is the place I'm meant to be in, then I should get to know it. Fernway, could I ask you as to how the chasm works? It isn't complicated. You already know that lost souls come to this place. Often when they doubt their reality, doubt their purpose, or doubt even existing. That's when I take over. The chasm does the work itself of converting the lost souls into energy, and it lets the chasm continue to thrive off of the nutrients of lost souls. So, if nobody were lost, would the chasm cease to exist? Foolish bile. Nobody is free from me or free from the chasm. Everyone will come here, because there isn't a single being that's sure of themselves. Well, I'd like to think that I'm holding myself pretty well together. You'd be surprised as to how weak and fallible you are once staring into the gaping maw. And the maw is? The opening pores where the chasm breathes and consumes. This place is starting to sound more like an actual person versus a static location. But if you aren't here, then what would happen? People would still come to the chasm. They would just have to find a way themselves. Almost everyone goes through me first before I see them here. Except for you. I didn't anticipate that you would be here, which is quite strange, but you'd be taken up in a much more interesting way. I don't like the sound of that, because if you aren't lost and somehow got in, that means that the chasm called to you, not me. And why? Why, the lower you go down the chasm and closer into the earth, the more lost you are. There are different layers to this place. First, it's for those with simple doubts. They may not even disappear and simply wander back. The second are those who fully acknowledge that they can't know anything. And the third are those who undergo a classic existential nihilism. The fourth are for those who are truly invisible, no purpose, direction. The fifth are for those that think that reality itself is a complete farce. And sixth are for those who doubt that they even exist themselves. Incredible, no? That sure is something. You seem to be an inquisitive creature. That seems to amuse them. The questioning will now begin. Use the keywords you have so far to ask Fernway about them. To do this, simply type in the keyword you want to ask about. Perhaps you can ask about non-keywords, too? Be warned, because once you've asked a question about a keyword, that's it. You cannot go back to it. Do you have anything else left to ask? Let me see. Skeptic. You seem to be a clear-cut skeptic to me. I don't go by insignificant labels. But your general inability to accept me being here is fascinating. What I think is that we'll take your beliefs and align them with the axioms of skepticism. Then we can see the differences and break it down. Why would you want to do such a moronic task? I'm competent enough that I can do it, and I want to do it. You're going to tear down everything I say. Here to mock me and... Relax, Fernway. You can trust me. No harm will be done to you. Fernway keeps denying my own existence, which is aggravating to say the least. But I can't convince them that I need to be their siphon if I'm not anything. On what grounds do you think I don't exist? You're here in the chasm, so even if you're here now, you're going to disappear soon. I may see your point here, but I hardly think I'm going to be gone since it's been a while. I know that you know I'm not going anywhere. And I know that you can't do a thing to me unless the chasm says so. So the only option we have left here is one where I'm a figment of your imagination. Which is why I'm not going away. I suppose, yes. If they're just a skeptic in disguise, I merely have to refuse skeptic talking points. This should be enlightening. Would you say that me not existing is a byproduct of your metaphysical beliefs? What do you mean? You not believing in me is not anything against me in particular. It's just because you don't believe in reality itself. Making them trust me means I have to trust in this silence. Fernway's misty form begins to shift. One of their tendril-like legs pulls up a mask. They stare at it for a couple of moments. You wonder how such a great terror could be seen so weak like this. How they could not be shameful or be ashamed of their vulnerability. I certainly wouldn't be able to do that. But how could you? How could I what? How can you truly, sincerely believe in anything? What if this is all an illusion? How can you be certain of anything? Knowledge is fallible. Bonds of lovers will break, and time will melt away. The only certainty lies in the uncertain. They form a hideous smile. And in the chasm... Well, you see, I think you would have a point. Under the model of standard analysis for knowledge, there's no way to escape this paradox. You can never truly justify anything. Some foundationalists like to claim there are basic beliefs that the whole world boils down to, like axioms of knowledge. Other coherence theorists like to say knowledge is an internet connections between beliefs, and how beliefs are only credible upon the supposition of others, which is how knowledge works. But we don't know the credibility of others, or whether or not they're real. It doesn't matter if one of them is false. If they can all support each other in false ways, it works. So that's out of the question too. If it isn't something that's intrinsic to the universe, nor is it based on a web of beliefs, then you make no sense. I mean, well, hang on a moment, I got this. Well, first, if you reframe what you think knowledge is, then not believing in anything becomes pointless. If you looked at knowledge under a contextualist model, or a default in challenge model, then things start to make sense, because knowledge isn't infallible. But that's the whole point. Knowledge should be made, countered, and remade again. It doesn't possess any divine qualities. Its inherent usefulness is in relation to us. So it doesn't matter if the malevolent demon tricks you, or if this whole world is a simulation, because we can still work within this system. I turn to them. You claim presupposes foundationalism, which we know to be false, and your conception of experience incorporates the myth of the given. This myth is the assimilation of sapiens to sentience, a thought to mere sensation. Or in other words, Knowledge of what we perceive can be independent of the conceptual processes which result in perception. It is because of this myth that you're able to live in your delusions of a non-existent world. What I'm saying, Fernway, is that with this in mind, there should be no reason to doubt my existence. What matters is that you can hear and see me in this moment. Right? You are saying things I've never heard of. So you couldn't be made from some part of my imagination. You must be here, in the present, and your reasoning couldn't come from my consciousness. Fernway's eyes have a black shine wipe across them. Their faces are light and dark. Silver-tongued, I don't know if this explanation is enough. I may need to think on it. But if you could give me some time, well, if I'll be happy to give you my time, for a price. Why for a price? My time is a valuable resource, and one that is limited. I'm only able to survive off of the gracious help of others. And how do they help? Well, it doesn't cost much. Hardly anything at all. It's just a piece of your soul. What? I'm a siphon, Fernway. Just as it's the chasm's nature to make lost souls disappear, it is within mine to sustain myself through mental energy. And what happens if you don't get mine? If I don't, I'll surely disappear. And you'll never be able to find any more truths again. This is all based on the assumption that Fernway will hopefully want to keep hearing from me. If they still want to believe that everything is fake, then there's nothing I can do. Consider it done. Thank you for listening to my woes, and for once in years, giving me something to actually think about. Great. So I'll sign off the deal. Using your power of insight, enter the mind of Fernway. You'll leave your mark on their mind, which can say anything you want. A signature? A keyword? Or perhaps it's a word that's meaningful to you. Alright, let's go. To the door. Alright. Shh. With my mark imprinted on Fernway's mind. Oh wait, I didn't actually write anything. Oh no! I was gonna say they were cute! With my mark imprinted on Fernway's mind, it acts like a signature of some sorts, meaning that I can siphon their mental energy at any time as long as the connection is maintained. Congratulations! You successfully won Fernway's favor. Whether or not you've won, though, life will still go on just the same, but it could determine future outcomes and scenarios. Now that the conversation, all your stats earned during the conversation will be reset to normal. After all, presence indicates how your interlocutor perceives you. Once you're done seeing them, these stats play no role. All stats gained during the conversation with Fernway will be reset. Don't worry, all points you assigned beforehand will stay. Here, you can save your progress by overwriting the save in the first file slot. Would you like to save? Your game has been saved. Chapter 2. There's a heart that beats as one. In spite of the outcome, one question still lingers on my mind. How did I even get the chasm keyword in the first place? I remember darkness, and inky, glass-like dripping blotches of nothing. And then I saw a red light. I returned to the present, at the Malduvian River. Fernway may have been delusional, but they were right about one thing. Only those that are lost can even enter the chasm to begin with. And Fernway may have called me for the dialogue, but someone called first. Someone who gave me the chasm keyword. Maybe they were right. The chasm did call me. And if that were true, stop. I don't need to go on needless tangents right now. So what if I have doubts? Doesn't everyone? And what does it matter if the chasm called me? I doubt I'll ever see it again. Some questions can't be answered. As you were deep in thought, you turn your head towards the Bahoog Bay. Across the horizon, you notice a new fair eclipse the sky. I don't think I've seen this one before. There are signs, voices, and noises relating to the fair surrounding you. Disembodied mouths and screeches from the void start whispering in the ears of passerbys. Need something to relax? Something to ease your worries? Feeling directionless? Losing your heart? Tired of feeling at all? Join the fun fair, where all your cares can go to waste. Sign-ups are free! We have free fresco juice and snacks. Advertisements for the fun fair? What kind of snacks do they have? You pick up a cube of goo from the dock floor. Snacks include glummy livers, turch salgars, and classic homemade salts and gnats. Oh, Kichi loves salts and gnats. If snacks are free, I might as well take the charity. He turned to whisper in one of the disembodied mouths. Hi. You guys are saying something about free snacks? Coming right away! The mouth begins to eat itself, and then spins outwards from where it was. It orbits around an empty point in space while simultaneously rotating on an axis. Then it comes to a stop. Open the top of my head. Inside were the snacks listed on the cube of goo. Glummy livers, turt sulkers, and salts and gnats. Please, taste the fresque juice, too. You oblige. Congratulations! Your ceremony of commencement will begin shortly. Pardon, my ceremony of what? Now that you've given in to the desires of delectable dining, we think you're ready. Ready? Ready for what? We've always been proud of you. You've been like a son to us. Huh? The game of catch you couldn't reach, so you fell down, and there was no one to catch your fall. A different mouth approaches you, but now someone is here to catch the fall. We're here, Gabe, ready to catch your fall. First off, my name isn't Gabe. Secondly, I'm just going to take the snacks and go. No! Don't you know? When you join the fun fair, don't you know what happens next? I haven't joined anything. He took the snacks. You're in. I'll return them. The first mouth interrupts the second one. Wait. We apologize. Perhaps you weren't ready. We're sorry we let you down, our sweet little child. At least will you attend orientation day? For what? The fun fair? Oh, the fun fair is a one-off event for the core ma'am, who is all in one. Wait. The core ma'am? Oh, yes. Sorry, we should have led with that first. Core ma'am is a collective hive mind. Instead of terror or brute force, they've infected other words to conquer them. Offering free snacks at Quasi-Carnival wouldn't be how I imagined running into one. So, orientation is what again? Well, we would introduce you to the philosophies of the Vanakava and say why you should join us. Sounds reasonable. That may be true, but if I don't join, they will certainly kill me. And if I don't agree to do the orientation, they'll kill me too. Just my lucky day. But maybe I can turn this into my favor. I was wondering, would it be possible to meet Core Ma'am? Oh no, you don't understand. Core Ma'am is all of us. Core Ma'am is one, Core Ma'am is all. Core Ma'am is me, and Core Ma'am is you. So, right now, I'm talking to Core Ma'am. Yes. I don't think any of your If I'm doing an orientation, I need to hear it from the core of the hive minds themselves. Interesting. Nobody cares to meet the ones who started it all. And if you meet Core Ma'am, you will consider joining the Vanakava. Yes? Most definitely. Not! Most definitely not! But I need to get out of this conversation. What time works for you? Well, how about tomorrow? That also works. Good. They drop to the floor and then dissolve. I think I can get out of this one. Maybe? I'm sorry. You did what now? Trust me, Kichi, this is going to be a good thing. I don't have a problem with the whole joining a collective hive mind thing. That's your choice. But meeting Core Ma'am? What possible reason could you have for doing that? After winning Fernway's favor, things should only go up from here. I'm not going to just have one grand victory. This could be the start of a succession of wins. And for insight, why would Core Ma'am ever let you be their siphon? They're a collective hive mind. They have better things to do. One mind or many. Everyone has their secrets. And everyone can be exploited with insight. Oh, I also got you some snacks. Salts and gnats? Ooh, wait! Aren't you distracting me from the current issue at hand? I take the salts and gnats over the hearth and start sizzling them. Kichi stops and starts drooling over its four mouths. Turt sulkars, when smoked and dusted, can act as a good seasoning over glummy livers. I start preparing that dish on top of the hearth and in the compressing chamber. Whilst the food is being molded and heated, I take out the fresque juice to make 2 glasses. And a small shot glass for Kichi, and a medium-sized one for me. The glummy livers look a little underbaked, so we set it alight and re-squeeze its juices. So, what are you going to do? What I always do. I win their favor. I'm not talking about that. I mean, how are you going to win Core Ma'am's favor? Look, I think it's time to eat. I plate the seasoned gummy livers in salts and gnats. They wibble and swim around. Don't sweat a thing, Kichi. I got this. And I have some time to prep for tomorrow. Tomorrow is in a few lunar hours. I know. You have location? Yeah. I know where I need to go. No worries. By the way, if you want help, the Narg works at the Zoker. Thank you, Kichi. We ate the rest of our meal in silence. I turned off the noise machine to ease the room. But the only thing we heard that night were the noises from outer world and the cries from blackened skies. With nothing better to do, I picked up the papers on the floor and started reading them. Headline: Margot, the Destroyer of Worlds, has recently been granted the standing of Great Terror. After the crusade against the Planktonian dimension, he has now accumulated enough cult of followers to earn the title. Great terrors are indifferent to this change. All terrors are disturbed, and dark terrors want him dead. You have 1 point left to reassign to stats. Let's see. I'll add perception. Let's go. You can continue reading to gain more points to raise your stats. Or you can continue scout for more information to gain keywords. And also 1 knowledge stat. I'm going to scout for information and go to the Narg, I think. So I'm going to save here. Flush deep into Murongo, I see the Zilkal bar hunched over. Just as I walk up to the entrance, I notice a sign. Unfortunately, it says that they're closed. I walked to the drying shop across the street, hoping to just cool down. I asked for a using of my horn and a drying of my erythropores. Unexpectedly, I saw an Ortish walk into the bar, bearing the marks of the Vena Cava. They skimmed the room in silence before quickly leaving. I asked the dryer what that was about. She tells me that all collectives assign their members certain tasks. Apparently, the Vena Cava has been coming here every hour to try and recruit new members. Almost desperately. After splitting my back, she lets me leave with the bill. Maybe I'll bring Kichi here for a dry. Your preparation time for the dialogue is up. Now, the silver-tongued will attempt to win the favored interlocutor. Corbayam, where one is all. I knew that orientation would take place in the poetic orb above the Murongo-Solas border. The mouths and voices from last time were there to greet me, and asked me to don a new robe. And then they beckoned me to float into the orb floating above Murongo. The top poetic orb structure, like a mechanical puzzle, began to undo itself. When the entrance opened, the orb resembled a sphere with a slice taken out. I went inside. After navigating through multiple vessels in the canals, I finally arrived to the core. This core room is the abode of Cormayam, the mind of the hive mind, or the heart of the Vena Cava collective. And attached to the top of the ceiling, there's no other than the heart itself. When I took a step on the ground, the guardian floor jumped, and Cormayam immediately knew I was there. Slowly, they began to descend from the ceiling. Hello. Hovering above me, their cords of arteries and veins fell delicately past them like strands of hair. Silver-tongued. Are you ready for orientation? Let me see. Hello. If you're ready to discuss, discuss. Give my own ideas a fair chance. Have a conversation. Sure. Now, we here also want to make you do a little survey before we start orientation. We hope this is fine with you. Sure. I feel a quake underneath my feet. Please, take a step back. I do so, and from where I once was standing, the floor caves into a hole, which then forms into a mouth-like shape. The floor ejects something into the room. The yellow and white bile floats into the room, free of gravity. As I was in awe, the hole starts closing itself up by pulling in the meaty floor that surrounds it, similar to quicksand. As it does so, the bile transforms into a smectic A state, where it crystallizes to form a piece of paper. We just want to know if you have any allergies, friends or family you care about, or salt on you. But also, this is about if you've joined any hive minds in the past, how long you've existed as a singleton, etc. Is there some kind of writing device I can use? Look up silver-tongued. Above me, I see a black artery descend from the ceiling. Squeeze it to get some ink out of it. Continue squeezing and pressing it as you write. After a few minutes, I'm done filling out the survey. What will this be used for? We thank you very much for your cooperation. Now, we are sure you have a lot of questions, which will be answered in due time. However, we are very curious to learn more about you. How come? Why, of all the people we've recruited, you're the only one who started making demands. And the only one to make a reasonable demand at that, to see us. Sometimes among the multitude of faces, you singletons fail to grasp our reality. Singletons being a collective's word for those who are not in a hive mind. And it is because you don't understand us that we have this gap in understanding. If only you could understand why everyone would want to be in the Vena Cava. And in your individualistic world, you think in singleton ways. You cannot comprehend our multitude, our numbers, nor our omnipotent presence. No, you need something to center those ideas in a singular being. Which in this case would be the vessel you see before you. Alright, I'm gonna go and, rub their ego a bit. Why? Is that sarcasm? We couldn't be happier to see that you, seem so impressed. I don't know if my ears deceive me, but I feel as if they're repressing something. Regardless, we hope that you and us can come to an understanding somewhere. There must be some foundation for mutual trust, after all. Why were you at the fun fair? Let me see. Why would it matter? Because if you disclose to us why you came, we can understand what I want out of the Vena Cava, is that right? You shouldn't mold yourself to be something that fits what I need. I should be interested in joining you based on your merit, not through some psycho-fancy. We don't know what you're talking about. The talking mouse, remember? We're a collective mind, so whatever they saw, we saw too. And we recall you saying, wait, the Vena Cava? Meaning you didn't know that we would be there. Yikes, I completely overlooked that. Everything that happened at the fun fair, they saw. I can't make up anything. We would just want to understand why. How shall we put it? Why would you insist on meeting with us if you have no intention on joining the Vena Cava? Our time and resources are precious. What exact resources are you expending by talking to me? Wow, you have a lot of audacity to go ahead and asking us stultish questions like that. Everything about the rapture needs to be measured precisely, done with the utmost concentration. The rapture? It's like, why all of us are bothered living at all? Seeking the rapture is one of the wise decisions and a balance. For we should not have to suffer. Silly. Why are we talking when we can show them for what it is? Let me. The lights are out, and their face begins to contort itself. It looks like blood stopped moving through its limbs and veins. Then it awakes once again. Our sincerest apologies for what you just saw. A silence steps into the chamber, lingering over both you and your interlocutor. Before we begin, we are wondering a few more things. Please, what is the most lacking thing in your life? What is the one thing you wish you could change? Because there would be no other reason why anyone would join us if they didn't want to leave something behind. You feel entitled to know this? You feel entitled to come to the core of the Vena Cava core man and demand a meeting from us. So the least you could do is answer our questions. And why should I do that? Why should you do what? Answer your questions. Keep in mind that you're trying to recruit me into the Vena Cava. I should be the one interviewing you. There's no need for you to get... Enough of your blabbling. Foolish singletons, always so individualistic and entitled. Maybe I shouldn't always press for more? Some new limbs of core man began attaching themselves to the ceiling. We think it would be an appropriate time to give a tour of the Guardian. The Guardian is the name of the orb that we're currently inside. I start walking towards the exit, adjusting the fabrics of my clothes on the way out. I notice that core man doesn't follow me, and remains attached to the chamber's ceilings. Are you to come with me? We, as the core man, cannot move from this chamber, but we, as the Vena Cava, can give a quick tour. The hovering mouths from before appear in front of me. Both the mouths and the beating core man speak in tandem. If you could follow us, please. Certainly. Instead of taking me out of the chamber, they move me to the opposite side of the room. Tubes, veins, and arteries fall down from the ceilings and start to take a life of their own. All of them are drawn to me, as if we were magnets. Wait, hold on. What's happening? Who said you were leaving this room for the tour? Please, allow yourself to be connected to our network. No! No, of course they'll find any opportunity to connect me to the hive mind. Does this mean it's over before it's even started? What exactly are you doing? We're going to show you projections from our collective mind. It's easier to just see visualizations rather than go through all the trouble of walking around. As you can feel the tubes suck at my skin pores, a thought crosses your mind. Wait, if they're showing projections from their mind, that means I can use insight. But no, as much as I can see what's in their mind, they can also see what's in mind. So they'll know I can traverse their mind. They may suspect something. Core Mayhem's main form descends from the ceiling again. Time is running out. What should I do? And so you do. Let's go into their mind. Core Mayhem, Core Mayhem. Core assimilate with us. Mayhem assimilate with us. We are one. Don't you see? Nobody can discover that we are two minds. Nobody. Make sure nobody knows that answer. So I know the answer now. Yay! Two minds? What on earth? So that means... And finally, there is our ritual site, which is... Have you been listening to us at all? Who are you? Exactly what we said we are. We are the Core Mayhem. Now I asked, who are you? The both of you. The both? I'm sorry, I don't think we understand. Don't pull this game with me. You both know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, pray tell, if we could ever understand what you're talking about, how would you have been able to get such information? Trying to deflect the blame onto me? We'll see. Hooking me up to your brains, plural, was a good start. So you shouldn't be surprised that I could get that information. Did you turn off the mainframe connector? I'm certain we did. Incompetent moron. Listen, I don't know what you saw. Since when did they start using singular pronouns? But you must have mistaken all the overload of sensory information for a crazy conspiracy. Are you intoxicated? Maybe under the influence of damaging substances? Because frankly, I would have no idea as to how you could make such a connection. It's funny, isn't it? Because I never explicitly stated what I saw. Oh, you didn't, did you? But I know that you know what I saw. So I think that you know what I'm talking about. And if that's the case, then my shock isn't so unfounded, is it? Really? So why don't you go ahead and say it? Oh boy, let's see. Haha, really? I argue we're more successful than anything that came before. Who can say that they have the power of two parallel cores backing them up? No one! Not a single being in this entire universe. And none of my subjects hold this to be a burden in any way whatsoever. So I'd argue that what you're saying is unmistakably false. We aren't failures. It's precisely because of this that we are able to strive. That the Vena Cava has been able to strive. But if you'd rather hear it from me in my words, yes, we are a hive mind. Yes, we are also two single ones weaved together. Yes, we are Core and Mayhem, where two is all. I noticed that their colors changed, where now there's a distinct line between the two halves, one with a greater red hues and the other with a blue hue instead. Even though they're undeniably connected, they also look more fractured than before. This is Mayhem speaking. I am Core. Where once there was a unity, or a plethora of voices, now each half of Core Mayhem sound distinct and clear, almost like two separate singletons' voices. There, satisfied? No. No, more. You can. Go back to being one. Thank you. Just as quickly as they separated, they fused back together. Don't tell us that we need to entertain you any longer. Now, we think it's best to answer those burning questions you have, the ones you traveled all the way for. The questioning will now begin. Keywords, Core Man. You cannot address the individuals of Core Man yet. Instead, all questions will be asked the collective being Core Man. Keywords. Let's see. What are my keywords? Done. Alright. Let's see. What's a fun fair? The fun fair is one of plenty of events we hold to spread awareness about the Vena Cava. These are fun games to play, philosophical questions to ask oneself, and group therapy. We also host some interactive novels that mimics the life of being in the collective. It gets people interested. Other collectives would rather just brainwash them, but we don't think that's the way to do it. They should be excited and want to join us. We can all experience the fun together. What else was the fun fair for? It was also a fundraiser event for the disconnected. Disconnected? Occasionally, assimilation doesn't work on a singleton, which is such a shame. So they begin to slowly disassociate themselves from the high mind. We spread awareness on the disconnected so that they can be reintegrated into the collective. And along the way, with the money we earn, we hope to find a cure for them. so that they can never be disconnected again. Do you have anything else left to ask? Let's see. Rapture. We're sorry, but we fail to understand what you just said. There you go. What is so great about the rapture that is your only goal in mind? What an interesting question. I hardly think that it's that interesting. I'd argue it should be something that's given. Your whole pitch as to why you should join the Vena Cava is centered around rapture. It shouldn't be surprising when someone asks what's so great about it, because you should be able to justify why rapture is worth pursuing. Well, let me ask you this. Why is the reason that we live life at all? It is because of the pleasures that we have. We are constantly in a search. Just as Cora Mayhem was talking, their face undergoes a fission of sorts. You can hear two singleton screaming voices yelling at each other. Cora Mayhem itself begins to melt and bleed from its mouth. Too long! Too long, too long! You talk of rapture! I shall grant to you rapture! Let us bask in it together. Don't listen to them! Please get a hold of yourself! What? I always thought that these two would be in perfect harmony. Turns out I may not have to convince Cora Mayhem. Looks like I'm going to have to pick a side. Or maybe help the two fuse back together? Choose either Cora or Mayhem. Personally, I think I might want to go with Mayhem. I'm not sure. If that's going to be the case, then I need to go inside their mind. Alright, in we go. Like your mind, the final answer is split in two. The first half is for you to find. The second half is your previous answer to get the key. The first half, an old answer, is final answer. And the old answer was, 2 minds. L mind. How did the code decipher? First half the cipher. If L goes to B, then... Oh no, I have to think. Let me go out of here for a second. Go, here. Don't have the key to access this door. What about here? The beasts can hunt you down using your notice. They sniff to find your... find your last letter T. What a smell. Your meat. I think it's meat. Meat. Final answer is split in two. The first half is right. LB. Press the backspace key to exit. Despite all the searching, you couldn't find the answer. I assume this is all the questions you have for us? I suppose. So are you ready to assimilate into the Vena Cava? Is there no way out of this? I never wanted to join the Vena Cava in the first place. Wait! I need some extra time just to really consider everything and let you do that. Time only leads to doubt. Don't you want your members to be doubtless? Full of conviction and certainty? We also don't like our members leaving orientation so soon. Now, if we could settle this properly like informed monsters. Settling this properly means you should probably listen to me. We've listened! We pain! I can feel myself losing the assimilation's grasp. And when I do, I start running. And I don't look back. Other Vena Cava members around me are just screaming in pain, barely paying attention to my escape. And with the roadmap of the exit, even though it felt like an eternity, in retrospect, it wasn't as difficult as I had assumed. Here, we can save years' progress by overriding the save in the first file slot. Would you like to save? Yeah. So I think that's where I'm going to leave the playthrough here. Yeah, this game was a lot meatier and more mechanically in-depth than I expected. I was like super shocked. Like, this is a game jam game, and there's like a lot of thought and detail put into this. Plus, I haven't even completed it yet. There's like a third Eldritch Horror I can encounter in this game too. So like, if you want to go and play it for yourself, no, please do, because there are like 7 different endings and stuff, and there's a lot of like meaty lore about the main character and about all the side characters and stuff as well. So if you like a really good Eldritch Horror game that has like a bunch of interesting characters and lots of philosophical discussions, well, this is your game. Yeah, this is a really good game overall. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. It was real good. I may finish it off in my own time. But since my computer is running low on battery, this is where I'm going to have to stop for now. But thank you all for coming along to the stream and watching me play through. And I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties earlier. I'll try and fix them so that by the Friday stream, things will be a lot easier. Yeah? Yeah. So, yeah, I hope you have a good week, and, hope things are less glitchy from here. Yeah. Bye-bye now! Bye!